In this video, I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic that a lot of people seem to be either 100% for, or some people don't know what they're doing, or some people are like, everything else except this is correct, and that's going to be ICT versus price action. I can't tell you, we live stream daily. There's a lot of people who come through the live streams and like, I trade ICT, ICT is the best, and that's the only thing I follow. Now, I do not have complete knowledge about ICT, but I do know that the ICT concept has become a whole world of concepts. So in this video, I'm going to compare that to price action, and it's not this video, but I just want to share my opinion. Maybe it can help yours, and this video is targeted for the people who do trade ICT, and maybe it can help widen their opinion to see that it's okay for someone else to trade differently. You don't all have to trade ICT to be the best trader. You can trade whatever way is profitable. But for people who are out there struggling, maybe this video will be good to allow them to have an opinion of, okay, maybe I don't have to trade ICT, or maybe I think that it is beneficial. So that's why I decided to make this video. So hope it helps. Sit back and enjoy the video. Alright guys, so I've made this document here, and basically this document is just comparing and contrasting, because this is going to be slightly biased, of course, because I am a price action trader, but I am a price action trader who did originally start. So if you haven't watched my other video where I talk about after trying 5 strategies, this is the one that has worked. I would recommend you watch that to hear my journey, but I did start learning a bit of smart money concepts in the beginning, and so I do have a basic understanding, not as much as people who completely use the strategy, which I do understand. So there will be some slight biases, but I am saying that out front and saying that up front, sorry. And I just want to show people that in this video, if you don't understand something, that's okay. In trading, you need to make sure that what you're learning, you understand, because it's useless if you don't understand it, and it's not the end of the world. Like, it's okay not to understand it. There are other ways to trade, but if this certain strategy or that strategy works for you, and if it ain't broken, then don't fix it, right? So that's the rule. So without that being said, let's get straight into this video here and talk about, the first pros of price action. Price action is easy to learn. You have a clear approach to the market. This is an example right here of a markup that I currently have on the charts, and you guys can see here that it is very clean and clear. There is nothing on the charts here that is complicated. It's just simple support and resistance, looking to get from point A to point B, clean and simple, right? And if we go back to this chart here, for example, that is the best thing with price action, is we're looking to trade from range to range, above support, below support, from support towards resistance. And that is exactly how we trade, right? So that is a huge benefit, because it makes it super easy to learn compared to ICT, looking for order blocks and looking for fair value gaps and looking for all of these different things may be a lot more complicated, right? And that's the counter takes time to learn, right? And that's where you don't want to spend most of your time. You don't want to spend most of your time learning. You want to spend most of your time practicing, because you will find so many different challenges. To learn to trade should be easy. The hard part is overcoming, viewing the markets in a way that makes sense, finding the setups, as well as controlling psychology is a massive part of trading here. So the next one is variation and variables. So trading is a game of statistics and probabilities, and the more variables you add, the more probability you have to lose a trade. So adding all of these complicated concepts is going to end up in you resulting in losing more trades, because there's more variables and more probabilities for things to go wrong. So the more probabilities we can reduce, the better it is going to be for our trading, right? And on the other hand here, we also have, it works on any market. So you can trade indices, crypto, and anything. Price action works. Why is this true? Because price action is based on candles, support and resistance, as well as market structure. So no matter what market you trade, there will always be candles, some form of market structure, and some form of support and resistance. Anyone who trades otherwise is making a huge mistake in their trading career, because it is fundamental to be able to trade with those things as a base of your strategy, and then you add on top of that. So that is like the base, and that is what everyone should have in the strategy, and that's what you guys need to understand, right? And this is a huge one, and it's one of the cons that price action that ICT has is it can't adapt to market dynamics, but price action can. Since we trade in a simplistic approach, for example, what if order blocks stop working? What if this stops working? What if that stops working? If all of that stops working, then you guys are stuck, right? But when you're trading price action, you're trading what's in front of you, just finding a way to enter into those trades. So if that is the case, then what ends up happening is that you can adjust to any form of market dynamics. You don't have to worry about something changing in the markets for you to be able to take a trade, because you can adapt. And that's a huge benefit, because we don't know in the next 10 years what we will be trading, what we'll be allowed to trade. So we need to make sure that when we're learning a strategy, we're thinking about the future and thinking, will I still be able to use this strategy no matter what happens or what we are allowed to trade, and etc. Right? So that is a huge point that I think people miss, because they get drawn into it sounding complicated, so it must be the best, right? And the other thing is that there's a lot of proof on there. I show a lot of proof of consistent data. You can see a lot of proof of basically traders who can show you basically the simplicity of this trading style. I show it on my live stream, and I show it on Excel sheets and everything. So that is one of the bad things about ICT, is that it is very hard to prove. You can't prove this. You can't prove that banks trade like this, and I can guarantee you banks don't trade like that. The idea of trading with the banks is completely wrong, because we are retail traders. We will never be better than retail traders, because that's all we are. So why are you trying to make your life harder to trade like a bank? That's something you can never do, right? So that's the problem. But there is truth to the strategy, and this is why I said one of the pros of ICT is it is price action, because ICT just follows something that someone has noticed, has repeated over and over and over again on the charts, and that's the truth. So it's repeated something that's happened, and that's a form of price action, the way the price moves. But unfortunately, there's a whole story behind it. Instead of someone teaching you and telling you price has moved to this area, and when we see a certain formation in that area and we see this, we can expect price to do that. Instead of that, they're saying this is an order block, this is where all the orders are accumulated, and this is where the liquidity lies for the banks to mitigate it. It's like, why? Just, you're not better if you sound better, right? It's not how it works, right? If you make it sound complicated, it's not better, and that's exactly what trading should not be. The reason why 90% of traders fail is because 90% of that information is bad. So it's very hard to backtest, because you need to look for it's very specific strategy. It's a complicated strategy, so you could be backtesting the wrong thing for a long amount of time and end up failing. And that's huge, because then you're just wasting time. Whereas in price action, it's very simple, straightforward, that you can be backtesting and practicing and getting used to repetition again and again and again, because it's super important to do that. I have noticed though, on the other hand, that ICT traders do have small stop losses, right? That could be a benefit, and that is one of the bad things about price action, is that we're trading what the market gives us. If today the market gives us 15 pips, but our stop loss is 16, 17 pips, we'll still take a trade less than 1-to-1, with the idea that over time we are winning more than losing. So risk to reward becomes irrelevant. So risk to reward is irrelevant. Why? Because if you're winning most of the time, then you don't need to worry about winning more than losing, right? And if the market's only going to give you 15 pips today because that's the range you have, why would you say, I'm not taking the trade because I need 1 to 3 RR, and it doesn't follow that? Well, yeah, fine if that's your rules, but you're missing out on 15 pips. And if you win most of the time, you might as well take it, right? Another part here is that about the high RR, so there's huge risk to reward. I notice if there's someone who's profitable using it, because that's kind of part of the strategy and why it's very attractive to beginner traders, because they see all of these big moves happening. Also, there's a cult community there seems to be, so if you guys want to be part of that cult community, that could be a benefit, right? And yeah, I just wish that the community would be more open to other trading styles and not make fun of price action as it's just support and resistance. It doesn't work. It actually works way more effective than the majority who trade ICT, based on my knowledge and what I've seen in different traders, right? The other pro is there's lots of resources, which can also be a con here, because unfortunately a lot of guys, they get dragged in, it's popular on the internet and it's very easy to find resources to learn about ICT and smart money concepts because it's spread everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone is giving their twist on it. Everyone's a guru on it, when in reality it's something that's not really solved, and I don't see someone explaining the same thing the same way, and that's what makes it so confusing. So you spend your time as a trader trying to learn from all these different resources who are saying all these complicated things, and then it actually makes you lose because you're not learning something that's consistent and something that works, right? Straight in front of you, because you're hearing all of these resources, and it just sounds good because of how complicated it is. But as a pro, it's good because there's a lot of resources out of there, and as a con of price action, it's not promoted enough, right? So it's not enough promotion, not enough people know about it, because not everyone teaches it properly. Because people get confused, they think price action is buying highs and selling lows, and it's actually not true. And that's what's put a bad rep on price action, is that it's not just support and resistance. There's a lot to it in terms of ranges and market positioning. Where you are in the market plays a huge role. So unfortunately, people have not put enough emphasis on this and teach it wrong, so it gets a bad rep. But really, it sounds simple, but it is simple, right? And that's how it should be. Should be concentrating on executing the trades and getting your risk right, your psychology right, increasing risk and getting better, not on trying to learn how to trade, right? That's another part. It's a very small part of trading, just learning to trade, right? Another thing is we catch the middle of the move. I know these ICT traders like to buy the lows, sell the highs and all of this, but no, as a retail trader, we look to get the efficient move from in the middle of the move, right? Because we want to be in and out, take our piece and be done, and do that consistently again and again and again, because that's how we succeed long term, right? And yeah, that's basically it. They have specific zones as a con for ICT, and they can't trade anywhere on the chart. For example, for us, we can trade anywhere we want. If I wanted to trade right here now, this looks like a good setup at the moment. Let's see if this 5-minute can pull back here. This could be a potential good setup, so ICT would be waiting for maybe to come up here, or maybe to sweep down here. So there's too many things that have to go on, which make it complicated and cloud your mind. But when you have a clear, like today, we have a bullish bias, I'm only looking for buys, end of story, no questions asked. It's a very clear approach to the markets, and that's how you're going to succeed. So I hope that this was a balanced enough argument and can open some eyes to some people who have maybe been trying to learn ICT and it's not working for them. That's okay. Consider that it's not one strategy fits all, and price action is the most raw strategy and the most basically simplistic strategy that has the highest results, in my opinion. Whereas ICT, I don't see the masses being able to succeed in it, and I've personally not seen someone in my circle, because my circle is mostly full of price action traders, who have traded that consistently. So that is why it's okay, you don't have to trade it, and I want to make that clear, right? But for all of those ICT traders out there who are watching this video, if you do trade ICT and it works for you and it's good, then don't change it. That's fine. I have nothing against you guys trading that way. I just want to open the eyes and give a balanced opinion. So I hope this video helps. With that being said, take care, trade sharp, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon. Peace.